As you can see, I wasn't lying to you. It really pops from up here. Hey, what's up, Reefers? This is Reefer Matt. It's been a minute since I've done a video. Sorry about that. Been real busy, and I know you have too, especially this weekend. So I'm going to keep this video a little shorter. This is on the 75-gallon SPS tank that you see right here on your screen. Things have been going pretty good in this tank. I've just been leaving it alone. I just cleaned the glass the other day, but I haven't even been cleaning the glass or anything. I just been leaving the coral alone and feeding the fish and doing my water changes and that. And the results are, really good as far as where we were a couple months ago. The coral are starting to grow out again, and as you can see, they're real bright and vivid and colorful. So I'm real happy about that things have recovered. And if you're new to this channel, welcome. If you guys like this video, please feel free to hit that like button. What that'll do is it'll sort of promote my videos on YouTube. It'll let YouTube know that you like them, and they'll want to share them with other people. So please feel free to do that. And if you're not a subscriber, you can also consider that as well. So getting into the tank here, as you can see, I got a little dead spot there still where the Montipora is, but it is growing in pretty nicely and coloring up. And there's a lot of Monticap growing there. See that little white speck there? I thought I had an issue with that. That's on the Monticap there. However, when I looked underneath it, you can see a little tip of it. That's actually an Acropora that's stinging it there. So what I'll probably end up doing is fragging that Monticap and getting that out of the way so that Acropora won't kill it from underneath. And I was starting to notice that the colors are coming back in the acros. And I noticed that I had an issue with my lighting. I'll get to that in a minute, but actually it worked out in my favor. The Acropora are getting the original colors that they had back. They're starting to really get them bright colors to them. As you can see, the 24K Leptocerus is really popping, that nice yellow, and also the green Pavona there. And as you can see, the green Pavona and that red Leptocerus are touching there in the center of your screen. They were attacking this Montipora here, which is Jedi Mind Trick. The Jedi Mind Trick used to be a lot bigger than that. However, that Leptocerus has really taken up some of the real estate that it had. As you can see, it's all but gone. It's pretty much died off. A little bit it's coming back. But where that Leptocerus on the left there and the Pavona on the right, they're kind of at a stalemate there after they took over that Montipora. And I saw that coming a couple of years ago. I'm like, you know what? I bet that's what's going to happen. And sure enough, it did. And there's my buddy, the purple tang. That's right, I got a purple tang in this tank. It's a 75-gallon, but this purple tang is only 3.5 inches long, and it's about 6 or 7 years old, so it's not going to get much bigger than it is right here. And as you can see, it's keeping my wave maker pretty clean. It keeps the rocks clean and does a pretty good job. Issues that I do have in this tank, as you can see, I do have some detritus there on the bottom. And I also got some underneath the rock there. I used to have sand in this tank. However, it was black sand, and it was volcanic ash basically from Hawaii, and it had iron in it. And it scratched my glass when I had one of those magnetic scrapers. I'll see if I can get a focus in on a spot there. But it would scrape the glass, pick some of that iron out of the sand. So I got rid of it. And also I was kind of hoping to get rid of the nitrogen sink that I thought I had. But the reason why I have so much of that detritus is because I have a lot of urchins in this tank, and they keep the rocks clean and the glass clean. However, they excrete a lot of detritus, and there's a couple of them right there on your screen. But they do a really good job of keeping the tank clean, and they even get some of the coralline algae out as well. So I was talking about earlier with my lights. I dimmed my lights and I put them on an acclimation schedule, and I turned the reef brights off when I had that issue back in February when I changed my salt and everything kind of bleached out on me. However, for some reason, my light schedule messed up, and it went back to my old schedule, which was 65%, because when the reef bright fixture turns on, which I'll show you here in a minute, I have my Kessels dimmed down to 35%, so that way the par doesn't change from what it was. And you can see that these colors, the colors on the coral are really starting to come out, especially these Acropora. And I was wondering why that was happening. Normally, like I said, I'd have that the Kessels dimmed down a little bit when the reef brights would come on. But after the acclimation cycle, it went back to my old schedule somehow. And here's the fixture here. And it went to 65% instead of 35%. So I'm assuming I'm getting more power. I got to check it. And that's what's causing the acros to get more color. I'm glad it's not bleaching them out or anything. It's actually a cool surprise. I just noticed it the other day when I was trying to dim down the lights manually, and I'm like, and also record my schedule. I'm like, why are these things on 65% in the middle of the day? And I couldn't figure it out, but I just left it because these coral are coloring up real good. I'm getting the purples and the pinks back in the Disney, and I'll show you the top of that here in a minute, but it's looking really cool. And I was just wondering, I was like, what's up with this? And sure enough, a little happy surprise, and I'm glad nothing bad happened with the coral. Now, this one on the right here is getting some blue tips on it too, this purple one. And yeah, I'm starting to take a little bit of time and just kind of sit in front of the tank and, rather than looking for problems, just trying to enjoy it more, especially this acropora back here. I like that one. Rather than just looking for problems and always doing work, I'm trying to, enjoy it more and not get stressed out about things. If you have one of these little flipper lenses, these are really cool for use for photography or videography. Mine's a little dirty, but see how you can zoom in here and you can like really look at the coral and the polyps and everything. So these things do a really good job. I highly recommend them if you don't have one. Just take pictures and stuff with along with your coral lens. And here's my Battle Corals F-Low. I got this almost exactly a year ago, as a matter of fact, a little bit more than that, for a grow out contest. And as you can see, I didn't win. That thing's pretty much the same size it was the day I got it. I had it in my frag tank for pretty much most of the year, and then I put it in here. So hopefully it'll take up that area right there eventually, but I'm not in a super big hurry for it to grow out. But at least it's still alive, so I'm happy with that. I enjoy it, but I just wish it would have grew out just a little bit more. And in the back here, I recently added this little digi. It's a forest fire, and hopefully that'll add a little more color contrast in the back, along with that green monicap right there. And check out the colors on that 24K Leptocerus. That looks cool, just contrasting with that green Pavona. That's why I like these, the Pavonas and the Leptocerus and that. They get real bright, and they got some cool growth patterns to them too. So, I mean, everything just looks chunky and vivid, and that's just why I like SPS. It's not necessarily all about, the flow and the movement. It's just about the different, all the different colors and everything too. All right, so now that we've got caught up on the front of the tank, let's have a look at the top, and I'll show you those crazy colors I was talking about. All right, here's the top view. As you can see, I wasn't lying to you. It really pops from up here. There's that yellow tip right there looking awesome. Got that from a reefing buddy. And this one over here, I had my frag tank. I don't know what the name of it is or anything, but it's getting some cool purple tips to it. And the monocaps are popping out really nice. There's that little spot I was talking about, that acro on that one. As you can see, the colors are real bright and vivid. They're almost like a different color just looking from the top down. And as you can see, this acro right here is really popping with the reds and the greens, so I really like that. And I got some Pasillipora around there I got to watch out. That stuff kind of pops up here and there. It's not super crazy in this tank, but I just got to watch it. Make sure it doesn't start attacking that acro because they are more aggressive than most acros. And speaking of acros, I've had this one here for almost as long as I've had this tank, about 5 years or so, and that's all it's done. So I may have to frag it and put it on a frag or something, put on a frag rack in the tank and try to grow it out and see what happens because that's all it's done, and it's kind of, getting overcrowded down there. So I want to make sure that I, take care of it and don't lose it. And there's that acropora right there. You can see the little tip bed right there. It's stinging that monicap. But all that's growing in pretty good too. It feels nice blue tips, purple tips. That's something newer too. That was just green before. And that bright, but you almost need sunglasses to look at that 24K Leptocerus. And then here's my favorite coral. This is the Walt Disney Acropora tenuis. And as you can see, I wasn't lying about this one either. Look at that. From the top view here, you can really see the purples and After a while, it'll get a lot more of the pinks and stuff back, but it's starting to color back up. So I'm real happy about that. This is not a coral that I like to frag all the time. I enjoy this as a colony, and it's my favorite coral. So I don't want anything bad to happen to it. However, dummy me put this acropora next to it when it was little, and it grows like crazy. And you can see there, it's starting to encroach on the Walt Disney, and it is tougher than the Disney, so it stings it. So I got to make sure I trim that purple and blue one back, whatever kind of acropora that is. But just a little pruning. It's normal in a tank like this that's mature. But that coral's cool too. I know I shouldn't have put it so close to the Disney, but I had a space there, so I wanted to try it out. I did not think it was going to grow that fast. Oh, and before I forget, there's some more Pasillipora there. That stuff just kind of pops up here and there. I got some actually growing on the glass. See that? That's probably the third or fourth time that's happened, and also on the return there. So you just gotta watch it. It'll pop up in certain spots. I let it grow out a little bit, and then I take it out. Here's the green slimer. It did have an STN episode a couple months ago when I had a semi-tank crash. But as you can see, the polyps are out. It's nice and bright, so it's recovering very nicely. And this is one of the original coral that was in the tank, along with this Leptocerus right here. All those little crevices like to accumulate detritus, so I do have to take a turkey baster and I blow that out every 3 days or so, at least twice a week. And as you can see, there's some down there too for when I blow it out. But yeah, this is my favorite view of the tank because all the colors pop out and I can kind of see if there's any problems too. And back there, that's actually a Pink Floyd Acropora. That one is pretty much as old as a Disney. It just hasn't gotten very big, but that one's cool. It has red polyps and yellow corallite, so hopefully it'll start coloring up too. And I got a little bit of bird's nest growing back again. I fragged that stuff by the pound out of this tank. And this is my favorite view of the tank. And for some bonus footage, here is the SPS frag tank. I've had some issues with some little frags fading out on me, but as you can see, I do have some wins as well. This coral's doing really good. I do have to find a new home for this rabbit fish here soon. He's getting a little bit too big for the tank, but I'm real happy with this tank as well. There's Nemo Jr. with his elegance coral. I'm just keeping an eye on my alkalinity and the temperature and everything else because this tank's smaller than the other SPS tank, so swings can happen a lot quicker. But all in all, not too shabby if I do say so myself. Well, that'll do it for this video. I'm Reefer Matt. Thank you for watching and happy reefing.